Welcome back to the Justice Kavanaugh Show. Happy Monday to all of you. If such thing exists, hopefully you got to enjoy your weekend. Good food, good times, good people. And everything was good. I had a fairly good weekend, which is why I hope everyone had a good weekend. So, jump right into it. Nice quick one. But, it's just something that's bugged me that no one seems to say anything about, at least on the left or on the media. And I don't know why it only works one way. But then when people on their own side do it, no one bats an eye. And that comes to spewing hate and, bile and rhetoric and just evilness, for years now, to include, especially encouraging the riots and Kamala and Nancy and all of them saying Ayanna Pressley, all of them. And, Schumer's words towards Judge Kavanaugh, like you've open up the whirlwind and you won't see it coming. And then this thing happens and no one says anything about it at all. Yeah, it just bugs the bejesus out of me. Because it's very obvious it was right there, between, look at all the stuff that Maxine said during, the Rittenhouse trial about all that, what she said about getting up in Trump supporters' face and let them know they're not welcome. All the fight everyone kept doing, be it Donald Trump said it, he got hit with, he got impeached for incitement, even though, allegedly from that speech, even though, bombs were planted the night before and they were requesting help before, which means they knew it was coming, which means it wasn't his words, and they still did it anyway, which should tell you all you need to say. But this really started in Obama's days, I would say. No one can, you could argue it all you want, but you'd be wrong. Look at everything then. What did everything turn into if you didn't agree with Obamacare, this spending, or doing this, or doing that? What, it just turned into you're racist. From the left and their media and everything else alike, and no one can deny it. They can try to, but why does that? Why? Because I don't agree with him, I'm a racist? No, I just think he's an idiot. Like a lot of people are idiots. Doesn't make me a racist. Doesn't make any of us racist. They've been doing it for forever. And again, even look at them now. Never anyone on the left says anything to, or during the riots. Yeah, fiery, but mostly peaceful. Like they burned down over 220 buildings in 2 nights. There's nothing peaceful about any of that. But look at all the things they've said about us. Like, what have they pushed onto people on the right that were all racist, bigoted, this, that, and the other? And they've been doing it for years. And they wonder why everything just keeps escalating, getting more violent and worse in the country. Maybe if they, and guess what? There's people on the right that are just as bad, but no one's bad. Look at Maddow or what's her name? Joy Reid, there you go. Or The View, or any of them. All the terrible things they say about, whether it's Trump, his supporters, anyone on the right. Like they get to make us out to be the worst things ever. And then they wonder why, they're pushing all this crazy and hysteria and making everyone as angry as humanly possible about the other side and why things get bad. They've been doing it. No one can deny it. You could try to deny it. You'll be a hypocritical POS, but you can try. Look at the celebrities. We'll punch them in the face. Yes, I've dreamed about blowing up the White House when it was the last time, president was assassinated, an actor, assassinated president, like all kinds of things. That's from Madonna to Johnny Depp, all kinds of people, Robert De Niro. And people have been saying terrible, terrible things. And yet here we are. And they wonder why it's this bad. Politicians, look at all the stuff they pushed about Trump and his supporters the whole time Trump was in there. Politicians, everyone elect, calling us all kinds of things, which helps push more violence. And that includes during the riots when they said stay in the streets. They should be in the streets. I don't know why they're not happening all over the place. Like they refuse to condemn any of it. And actually said, keep going. Ayanna Pressley, stay in the streets. Maxine on Trump's, again, Kamala saying they should be in the streets. And Nancy was even there saying, I don't know why there aren't more of these things happening. All hell was breaking loose. Thing was mostly peaceful. And everyone that watched the mainstream media said so. But if you look at, you could go over on Google Maps, look over top of whole entire sections of cities are gone. People were dying. Police and federal officers blinded, and all kinds of other things. The soup and all kinds of things were getting thrown at their head. Like so much dumb was happening. And, here we are still getting told that we're the violent, crazy people when you could literally read comments from people or actually physically see their heads exploding when you bring anything up to them. Nothing happened to any of them, to include now Schumer, even though the guy was caught with what? Handcuffs, zip tied, duct tape, whatever it was, a knife, pistol. Like he had all kinds of things ready to kill, Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh and himself. Kept saying Kavanaugh, sorry, Kavanaugh. Nothing happened to him. Yeah. Unleash the whirlwind and you won't see it coming. Well, and now this thing happens. And I mean, after he was pushing all that forever, said about Gorsuch too, and all of them. And it's amazing. Nothing happened to them for pushing actual violent, extremist, viewed, incitement. Like if anyone on the right gets hit with everything all the time, no matter what they say, they get their head taken off, and it makes news cycles for days on end on the left. But yet, here we are. And I didn't even hear anyone on the left bat an eye when it came down to what happened to Justice Kavanaugh. No one talked anything bad about him for saying any of those things, which are actually inspiring violence and all that. And no one cared. And I have a problem with that. And everyone should have a problem with that. Yet no one says really anything about it. And that's, again, push us as violent psychopaths, but don't actually cover anything of people on your side and hold them accountable for everything. And you can see it everywhere, from the Kavanaugh to the school shooting to all the other shootings. Like it's getting more violent and worse the more they keep pushing all this stuff. And yet you only hear about the ones that fit their agendas, which isn't helping anything. It's actually just making everything worse, because I just think it's these certain people doing it, not realizing that it's happening all over the place. And it's just a super problem that needs to be dealt with. And that's the problem. Again, they've been doing it for years since Obama, calling everyone on the right that didn't agree with them racist, bigoted, sexist, now xenophobic. I mean, you name it. We're supposed to be the uneducated, everything. I'm called enemies of the state by Nancy Pelosi last year. What good does that do? How does that help anything? How, you just keep ramping it up and the problems keep getting worse, but yet they keep ramping it up because they actually don't give a damn. That's really the biggest problem. None of them care, whether politicians to the media, celebrities, all of them. None of them care. They run everything. They just get to keep pushing their agenda and making it out to be whatever they want. They control the language. They control all of it. And that's why we're here. And again, why it gets worse. And it's amazing how they pick up on certain ones. President didn't go see the victims of the nightclub shooting, didn't go to the subway people, but he went to where the white guy shot up all the people in Buffalo in a supermarket. Went to see that one. Not a mention of all the mass shootings just over Memorial Day that I keep bringing up in Chicago. 42 injured, 9 killed. As well, a bunch of mass shootings right there. No one says anything about where most of them come from. Don't talk anything about any real problems. They say we need to fix it with just going after guns instead of just, I don't know, maybe turning down the rhetoric and holding anyone accountable instead of just inciting people and only, and making one side out. Like, at least I just say the people on the left are psychotic and ignorant. Like, look at all the stuff they say about people on the right. And that's just why it keeps going. They only go to show things that fit their agenda. And they just keep saying whatever they want, no matter how inciting it is, no matter what happens from those words, they don't get held accountable for any of it. Just like, Afghanistan, there's no accountability. Thankfully, I'm not in a position of power, so they can't go after me for that. But there's so much incitement going on. Again, just look at Chuck Schumer, what he said there, and then this happens. Not a word. No one cares. Anytime anyone on the right says anything or does anything, it's all under a microscope, all there. And until people start seeing that it actually goes both ways, it's going to keep getting worse as long as they keep pushing all this crazy stuff. It's going to keep getting worse. And I don't like saying that, but it's true. It's going to keep getting way worse. And, keep getting worse for so long until it's going to take everyone opening their eyes. There's so many people that are in it, no matter what anyone said, like on both sides. And we got to wake, get people to actually wake up. Don't be woke, but actually wake up and stop all this. Hold people accountable no matter what side they're on, and do all of it, and stop inciting so much stupidity, which they still are. Because by not saying anything about stuff, picking out certain things and showing certain stories when they happen, when they fit what they need them to fit, like that's making all the people that don't see outside that box think that everything's 1,000. That's completely the only way it's going, and it's happening across the board in all kinds of cities, both ways. And that's why we are where we are. And those are my Monday thoughts coming out of all this, just because it kept happening. And I keep seeing all these shootings happening in places and not one word from, a lot of the mainstream, which just doesn't help anything. So with that, I'm going to jump off. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, everyone on Good Pods. Thank you. Don't forget, rate the show. Follow along on the Facebook page and Twitter at Jay Rucinski Show on Twitter. I post stuff there. I post the shows there. You can interact with me on there. Good Pods, everyone on there, thank you. You guys mean a lot. That whole entire platform is doing pretty cool stuff for me, so keep checking it out there. But again, Facebook, Twitter, get on there. Good Pods, YouTube, Rumble for Cloud Hub for the videos. You can check them out there because I only post them normally when it's the Wednesday show. It's the Wednesday show with Walter, because then there's more than me on there, so I give people the viewing pleasure. But you can still follow along on there, and if you listen to it, go find the show on YouTube and Rumble. Rate the thing, like the video, comment, and that helps push it more. The more ratings you get, the more easily it is to show up in people's things. So more ratings helps, and I appreciate all of you very, very much. Again, I hope you had a good week. Hope you had a good, weekend. Hopefully, you have a good week coming up. Everyone deserves to have it. I'll be back here Wednesday for Wednesdays with Walter. No idea what we're talking about yet. We have some ideas. We haven't locked down or anything, but make sure to check that out. And I'll be back then. So be good to each other. Enjoy yourself. Thank you. And please, again, share everything out, like it, comment, give the ratings. It helps so much. Let me know what you think. And until Wednesday with Walter, peace.